Fight, man. Just talk to me about the atmosphere you've been feeling, man, everything you've been doing with this fight. Talk about it.
Yeah, it's been a crazy buzz over the course of the week, keeping me very busy. But just like every other fan, I'm excited, you know. Sometimes the buzz gets you excited just like the fight gets you excited, you know, and we'll see if the fight lives up to the hype, but it's been exciting being here all week.
Have you been surprised that even today the press conference was kind of tame, nothing really crazy going on? People expected a little bit more fireworks.
You know what? You'd rather see the fireworks in the ring anyway. Sometimes you get all these fireworks at press conferences and all these fireworks and the build-up, and then the fight is a dud. So you hope that all the fireworks and all the big stuff is getting saved up for the fight, all the big emotions getting saved up for fight night, and we get a great show. So we'll see.
I think it lives up to the hype, Paulie. I mean, they're putting so much on this fight. I mean, as far as the magnitude of the fight, it's already a big fight, but are the fans and people going to be satisfied at the end of the night?
You hope so. You know, it comes down to the two combatants, and if their styles can mesh well enough to make a fight to remember and whatnot. You know, sometimes being effective does not necessarily mean being exciting, and so I think that's Floyd Mayweather's, most of Floyd Mayweather's career has been based on that analysis. He's been very effective, but because he's so effective, it's not always exciting. And so I think we'll see if Saturday night, if Manny Pacquiao can force Mayweather to be exciting.
You know, I got to ask you about you because I heard some news that you're working with Angel Memo Heredia. I know people giving you flack already, Paulie. I mean, clear it up from people, man. Tell them what you want to tell them.
I mean, I don't think there's anything to clear up. I mean, yeah, I think there's people that have a checkered past, but at the end of the day, it's up to the athlete if he wants to cheat or not. You know what I mean? Memo's an intelligent guy. He's got some intelligent workout regimens, and you know, he's a guy who's had success with athletes. Granted, if a guy wants to cheat, it comes down to the guy's personal decision making. And at the end of the day, I'm a guy that wants to stay clean. Memo, I think, can work very well with a guy who wants to stay clean regardless. I don't think Memo can only work with you if you're dirty. You know what I mean? I think Memo is a very intelligent guy, and he can help you be clean and get the max out of your body. You know, and so at day's end, I literally just started working with him yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Was my first day with him. You know, we had to still come to terms, and it was exciting to come to terms and whatnot, and just have these couple of new workouts we did. Today we did in the pool. Yesterday we were at the track and whatnot. But ultimately, it's a situation where, like I said, it comes down to the athlete. And, I'm a guy, I have too much respect for other fighters, man. You're risking your life in that ring, That's why I lose all respect for guys that I think are cheating against guys that are clean, you know what I mean? I think there's been times in boxing, and I'm not going to name any names, where fighters maybe, do it to get even the playing field against a guy they might think is cheating, and I'm not going to say that that's right, but at the end of the day, you're going to risk your life, you know what I mean? You're going to even the playing field. At day's end, I don't have the heart to come in dirty against somebody who is sitting there being clean. These guys, everybody got a family to go home to, everybody got a life to go home to. So at day's end, I respect boxers too much to be a dirty fighter. And so regardless of who I'm working with, Memo's still a genius in what he does, and there's clean ways to be able to do it. And based on the workouts that he had me doing yesterday and today, there's been some, I wouldn't say it's fun all the time. I was really, really out of breath, but at the same time, it tests you, and it tests you physically and mentally. And those are the kind of things you want to do. You want new challenges in your life, and bring on the new challenges for me.
What made you choose him? I know there's other strength and conditioning coaches. What specifically made you kind of target Memo a little bit?
I had met Memo when I was here in January. I'm friends with John Pascal, and he was working with John for the Kovalev fight. So we just talked, and then we didn't really keep in touch or anything like that. And then he hit me up on Twitter recently. He said, "Hey man, if you're really serious about fighting again, hit me up. I really feel like I can help you and whatnot." So we talked and whatnot. I always felt like maybe I needed a little bit of more help in my career if I'm going to continue to fight, just more intelligence and whatnot, and the way I treat my body, because I'm 34 years old, and there's got to be ways of working out properly where I'm not overworking myself, but yet working out hard enough to get the most out of the workouts. And so I feel like an intelligent guy like that will know how. At day's end, people are going to create their opinions all they want, but it's all about, like I said, it all comes down to the athlete and what the athlete wants to do. And like I said, I have too much respect for fighters to be that way, and I really mean that from the bottom of my heart, man. I mean, I think I've seen fighters that were clean going in with dirty fighters, that I felt were dirty fighters, and they're good fighters, but they're sitting there like sitting ducks. Boxing can be a dirty place, and fans choose their favorites in fights as fighters, and then they don't want to believe that maybe that guy might be on something, or maybe that guy might not be on something, or whatnot. At day's end, you're victimized if you come in the ring clean against a guy who's dirty. And I have too much respect for other fighters. You know, at the end of the day, it's a blood sport, it's a combat sport, but you don't want to put people more in jeopardy than they already are just by stepping in the ring.
Paulie, real quick follow up on that. In UFC, they started random drug testing, and all these guys started popping in main fights.
Yeah.
Now they're doing 365 random drug testing.
Yeah.
If boxing started random drug testing, how big of a problem do you think it would be? And do you feel that boxing should find a way to have random drug testing all year long?
I really feel like boxing, you would hope, can, and maybe one day it will. And I think it would be more of a problem than people think. You know, I know people get on my case like anytime somebody's good, I say they're on something, but it's not really about anytime somebody's good.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a body expert. People look at me like, oh, this guy's on some, look at his body.
Right.
That's not what I specialize in, bro. If you're fighting at a ridiculous pace and you're fighting at bringing your punching power up multiple weight classes over, you look at the history of boxing. You know, like when guys move up in weight, there's things they have to do to compensate for the lack of punching power they're going to bring up, or they have to respect defensively the other fighters' punching power because they're fighting naturally bigger guys. You know, the things you see nowadays, it's kind of crazy. You know, I think if you do random drug testing 365 days a year, you'll never see the things you're seeing in this generation again. You didn't see them before. You never saw these things before. You see old-time fighters fought in different weight classes. Old-time fighters were limited. That's the problem based on boxing. They think old-time fighters are better than today's fighters. No, they're not.
Yeah.
Watch the fight. You're watching the same fight I'm watching these guys. These wide punches, more room for error and whatnot. So, you know, maybe you can do it a little more when there's more room for error. There's less room for error nowadays.
Yeah.
So, you know,
with all the different promoters, though, and different organizations, do you ever see a way that boxing could implement random drug testing?
You know, the UFC is able to do it because it's a league,
right.
And you know, you basically just sign into the UFC. You sign into the UFC, and you're part of that league, so to speak. And then from there, that's when, you know, there's pros and cons to a league. And one of the pros is, you know, you can implement random drug testing, and everybody will have to go through it and submit to it if you're going to be a part of that league. And the cons to having the league is what's happening in UFC, where, you know, fighters probably get underpaid and you know, they deserve more money, you know. So there's pros and cons to everything. You would hope that they figure out a way with the random drug testing. And like I said, you'll never see this again. And it doesn't mean that today's fighters will be better, are going to be the best ever. Some people are going to think like, oh, the records we saw today in these days, oh, that guy was amazing. Was he amazing, or was it something else? So because once they implement random drug testing, it's just like baseball. You never see the amount of home runs that were getting hit at one time. You stop seeing it, and you'll never see it again. Fans got to stop being fans once in a while and just think outside the box and understand what's going on.
Getting back to Mayweather Pacquiao, we've seen some fights where Mayweather tends to fight a little bit more, like he did with Cotto, Maidana first. We've seen other fights where he comes in and boxes. Do you expect Mayweather to be on his bicycle, kind of moving more, or how do you expect him to come out?
I think somebody like Cotto forced Mayweather to fight more than he wanted to. Somebody like Maidana forced Mayweather to fight more than he wanted to. I think when Floyd fights a dangerous puncher, he doesn't fight with them by choice. I think the fights that he's taken on by choice, where he got hit a little bit more early on in his career, maybe DeMarcus Corley, you know, I think he made that choice to fight that way. Emmanuel Augustus, he made that choice to fight that way. But I think the heavier punchers, I don't think he makes that choice. I think they're good enough fighters. They've been good enough fighters to force him to fight a certain way. So, you know, for the fight to be exciting, it's going to have to come down to Manny being good enough to force Floyd to fight a certain way.
How does he force him to fight that way?
You know, he's going to have to figure out a way to cut range and cut distance in a sneaky way to where he can smoothly transition his distance into his offensive flow. And if he doesn't do that, he's going to get clipped coming in, which doesn't necessarily translate to a Marquez-style knockout, but what it'll do is it'll disrupt your timing. You know, you get clipped with pot shots on your way in, it'll disrupt the combination. You won't get the combination off. You may only get the first one or two shots of the combination off, and then it'll fizzle out because you know you got disrupted with a change of distance, or you got disrupted with a counter pot shot or whatnot. So I think Manny has to be very effective in the way he transitions his distance and gets close.
Paulie, do you think people don't give Floyd enough credit for being a fighter? Because, you know, we see the persona, we see what he does in the ring finesse, but, you know, he's always said, I'm a fighter, I've been fighting my whole life. Do you think people don't give him enough credit, like we saw at the Cotto fight?
I think I really bring it down to ignorance. You know, I think it's easier to appreciate a guy like Mike Tyson, who was very exciting. It's easier to appreciate a guy like Manny Pacquiao. It was very exciting because they go for it. They go for the gusto. They go for the knockout. But when you're truly really effective, it tends to be boring because you're so good. Somebody like Vladimir Klitschko is really effective, but it's boring. Somebody like Floyd Mayweather is really effective. Sometimes it's boring. When you're so good, you eliminate the exciting factor of it because there's nothing to think about, nothing to worry about for the fans. Like, oh man, what's going to happen now? So I think they can't understand that, and ignorance can never understand. You know, I give people the example of me with art. You know, you take me to an art museum. I look at a splattered paint on a wall. To me, it looks like somebody took a paint bucket they bought at Home Depot and just threw it against the wall, and you tell me it's worth $1 million.
You're not alone.
I can't appreciate that. I'm ignorant to the art. I'm ignorant to that fact, and I'll admit I'm ignorant to it. I think too many boxing fans don't realize how ignorant they are. Too many people in the media center, in the media, don't realize how ignorant they are. They consider themselves experts because they watch a fight every week. There's literally people in media, people in boxing, fans that have watched boxing 30, 40 years and wasted their whole life. Like, you've been watching something, you don't even have a clue what you're watching. I don't even know how that's possible. Like, dude, I would have quit a long time ago. If I was watching something that I didn't understand, like golf or something, like I don't understand golf, I quit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it, so I quit. Like, how do you watch something for years on top of years and have no clue what you're watching? Not only you should be ashamed of yourself, go get another hobby, dude, because this ain't for you. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I think that comes down to the non-appreciation of Floyd Mayweather, his boxing style. You don't have to like the guy for what he does or what he says or who he is or whatnot, but as far as on a pure boxing standpoint, Floyd Mayweather is very good, and there's a lot of things that people don't pick up on.
So 5-10 years from now, will we remember him differently? Will things change? Because right now we criticize him. I'm sure Sugar Ray Leonard got criticized in his day, but
like Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, 5-10 years from now, will we finally be like, man, we miss Floyd?
I think Floyd will probably be appreciated more when he's gone, but I don't think he'll ever be appreciated the way he should. Like, he's probably gonna. I'll tell you, Saturday night he's probably going to beat Manny Pacquiao pretty easily, and then it'll probably be something else that people will come up with to complain about him. So, unfortunately, Floyd is almost enslaved to the fact that people just are never going to understand his style fully. People want to see you get up off the canvas. People want to see you in trouble. People want to see you have to overcome adversity. Floyd has overcome adversity. It's just been subtle adversity. He has never had to get up off the canvas or been behind on the scorecards like Ray Leonard. With Ray Leonard, it wasn't so subtle. It was very much in front of your eyes, and Ray Leonard proved it. And that's how amazing Ray Leonard was as a fighter, and we appreciate it because he proved it. I think Floyd Mayweather's the things he's had to overcome have been very subtle. There's been moments in fights, in the Miguel Cotto fight, the Marcos Maidana fight, even the Jose Luis Castillo fight in the rematch. Those are subtle moments where he's going through a tough time in the ring, but the way he's overcoming it is so subtle that you can't appreciate what the mental capacity that he's got in there, and the fact that he's subtly turning it around, and how hard that is, because maybe you're not seeing blood, or maybe you're not seeing him get up off the canvas, get up off his ass off the canvas, but he's suffering in that moment, and he's got to turn things around, but he's subtly doing it. So the ignorant person will never understand how subtly he's doing it and still being effective, and you got to give him credit, because subtle doesn't mean it's not happening. It just means it's happening and you don't understand it's happening.
Going back to your career, May 29th, what made you decide to come back? And we've got an old-fashioned Italian versus Irish battle at the Barclays Center.
Yeah, this fight will be like a huge blockbuster, right? If it was like in 1955. I came around too late. Me and Danny did. But I don't know. Over the course of the year, you kind of miss it. Sometimes you miss it more than others. Some days you miss competing. You see the fights, and some days you're like, man, I'm glad I'm not a part of it. And sometimes I'm like, man, I miss this. And little by little, you just start missing it more. Al Heyman did his PPC thing, and I'm like, man, I could be a part of this if I wanted to. It's getting a lot of network coverage. Fighters get paid well, and so little by little, I just started kind of having that desire to want to come back. Some days, don't get me wrong, I'm training some days, and I'm like, like I'm busy weeks like this, and I'm so busy, and I work with 3 different networks on television, so it's so busy, it's hard to have like a normal training camp, because I'm away from my trainers all the time, and sometimes I got to do my own makeshift workouts and whatnot, and there's been some days, I'll admit it, where I'm like, I said to myself, why did I decide to come back? Now I got to make weight, and despite all this, I got to train, figure out a way to train, despite being so busy with all this, why did I do this to myself, But then I think when I'm in the ring on May 29th and I'm here in the crowd and I'm in the moment, I think it's, those are the moments you appreciate, and then you tell yourself, well, this is why you put yourself through a hard time. It's to be in these big moments and be in these fun moments. Competing is in my DNA, and I think I'll always be a competitor. So while I can still be in the ring, why not?
Does that mean you're going to train in Vegas, being that you're working with Memo?
Yeah, it was. I started working with him this week actually. Before that we had just talked about doing a deal. We had to come up with a deal. So yesterday was my first day with him, and we went to the UNLV track. Had a good workout at the track. This morning I was with him. We went to the pool by the gym here. We did a workout in the pool. Later today I got to do my own workout, probably in my hotel room because I don't have time to get to a boxing gym. You know, I just turn the good old heat up, jump rope, shadow box.
Well, the heat is coming here.
Yeah, work on my form. You know, 'cause I still got to work on my boxing technique and you know and whatnot.
That's
so on and so
dedication too,
forth.
though, man.
And then Monday when I get back to New York, I have some sparring set up with some southpaws. So, you know, it's a balance. And yeah, it's a dedication, but if there was no passion behind the dedication, I wouldn't be able to do it. It's only because I have a passion for what I do that I deal with what I'm dealing with.
You're covering the welterweight division now. I mean, you're going to be a welterweight still. I mean, do you think about now fighting these other guys that you called their fights and seeing how you do against them? Do you want to get back on that level real quick?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. You know, I want to take it back one fight at a time. You know, like I said, some days I'm doing this and I'm like, man, why did I put myself in this situation? I have to train right now. Like I could be taking a nap between sets. You know, instead between sets I got to go change and get a workout in and take a shower, get changed for the next set. You know, that I'm doing on television. So yeah, I mean, I'll see how I feel on fight night, and I'll see how I look back on the training camp and see if I could really dedicate myself to the point where I should take other fights or not. I may win the fight and say, I don't know if I have time to do this again. Or I may say, you know what, maybe I have time to do this and, you know, I'll want to try it again. So I can't, I'm going to take it one fight at a time. I'm going to try to enjoy it as much as I can because sometimes the reward is in the journey, not just the end result. And then from there, I'll see where I'm going.
Is it a great position, though, where you have all these different TV stuff, so you don't have to fight again if you don't want to, where other guys seem like they keep fighting because that's the only way they can make money?
Well, that's the thing. I think if it was, you know, the funny thing would be if I didn't have this job and I was still fighting, people would probably think I needed the money, like I'm broke or something like that. So, you know, I think people understand that I'm not broke. I get compensated very well for these networks that I work on. You know, being on television is cool, not just because it's on television, but also that I get compensated very well. But, you know, it's cool to not have the financial stress of it, but at the end of the day, it's still stress because you know, anything I do, I want to do it well. You know, I'm never satisfied. You know, and people say, oh, why do you want to fight when you have these jobs? They don't bring the same adrenaline rush. You know what I mean? Nothing brings the adrenaline rush of combat. You know, of organized combat in a packed arena. Nothing brings that, and I'll never feel that once I'm done. Yeah. So you know, I'm alive. I want to live. You know, if I'm not gonna feel that being alive feeling, I might as well be dead. You know, what's the point of being alive if you can't feel what I feel? You know, that's the way I look at it. So for that reason, it makes it worth it.
Hey, Paulie, the winner of Saturday, in your opinion, are they TBE?
Possibly. It depends how they win. Possibly, you know. I think if Manny wins, he has to fight Marquez again.
But if Mayweather wins, you think TBE, or where would you rank him if he wins on Saturday?
It's possible. You know, it's a debate for sure.
Okay.
And debate for intelligent people, because you can't put idiots in a debate like that because they ruin the whole conversation, you know. Yeah. But if you can have a debate with intelligent people, certainly it's a debate worth having because he certainly belongs in a conversation, at least to be discussed.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Paulie. I always appreciate you, man.